Go get
Jonathan Taylor right now before week 5 kicks off. But you know what? Even if you don't get him before week 5 kicks off, his game already played on Thursday. He sat it out. There's still opportunity to get him heading into week 6 if you don't pull a trade off before week 5. I'm going to go over all of that and more. The Fantasy Football Show.
It begins right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.
JT. I'm hearing nothing but complaints about JT. JT this, the offense that. The offense looked bad on Thursday night, Smitty, don't you think?
Don't you think if they look bad on Thursday night, they're probably going to look bad the rest of the season, Smitty?
Well, Bob, they didn't have JT on Thursday night. Let's stop talking about the worst game ever, Colts versus the Broncos, when JT wasn't on the field. JT is the best buy low in fantasy football 2022. It took us breaching into week number 5 on Thursday night to find the best value in fantasy football 2022, and JT is our guy. Is there a little risk that his ankle injury, which is a lower ankle injury, not the high ankle sprain that we initially thought when reports first broke, could his ankle injury linger and hold him down a little bit? Sure. I got one hyphenated word for you. Baked in. Could he continue to play badly even if his ankle is fine?
Baked in.
You can complain. You can talk about how he doesn't look the same. You can act like other players that are going off are going to continue to outscore him. And maybe you're right. Maybe you will be right. Maybe I'm going to be wrong here. But I'm willing to take the gamble when the gamble is 4 weeks into JT's play, 5 weeks into the season. He has literally been cut in half or more in terms of cost of entry. If I'm wrong, I'm getting every dollar I'm plugging into a go get JT trade. You're still getting what you're paying. If I'm wrong, you're getting what you're paying. If I'm right, you're winning a league because you're getting a, second round equivalent, if you're talking about drafting right now, player in terms of value, and you're getting back a top 5 guy. In fact, I'm baffled by the pushback I see in trade opportunities that get brought on the show where people go,
I don't want JT.
Did you see the offensive line?
Baked in, Bob.
It's all baked in. You're not buying him at his old value. You're not buying him at value that commands top 5 return. You're buying him in a place where if he produces like a 6 to 10 running back, you're getting every dollar you invested in a trade for JT. And I'm no scientist, but I've got a psych degree.
Yes, you baby.
But that practically makes me a scientist or at least a judge. And I'm here to determine that this risk is worth taking. It's worth letting my team crash and burn. I will not lose a wink of sleep if I'm wrong on JT. Why? Because less than 5 weeks ago, the man was the consensus 1.1. We're drawing all kinds of conclusions after he himself played 4 weeks and he missed his first game in week number 5. I don't even think he missed a game in college. This guy's reliable. This guy is a workhorse. This guy is being undervalued. This guy can win you a league. If you need a spark, here's your spark. You're getting a guy that could be number 1 overall, not this top 5. Let's give him the respect he still commands and deserves. He could be. At least use the word could be, Bob. He could be. Use it with me. Could be the number 1 overall player, Bob. You can get JT for a J.K. Dobbins and a wide receiver 2 that's popping off that looks and is disguised as a wide receiver 1. And I don't want to hear that your league is so special and that you are just the best ever.
I've collected the best group of friends. We're all sharks, and these trades don't happen in my league, Smitty. They just don't happen.
You're either A, dealing with somebody that just doesn't want to trade JT, bro, or you got a league full of never trading Noahs. I can't control all that. I can't control that you literally get your phone out and go, can I have JT? And your trade tactics need some work. Everybody thinks their trade tactics are the best. I know I try all the things you suggest, Smitty. I don't buy it. I'm watching more people than not pull off low ball JT offers where I'm playing this little number after the trade gets done.
You are offer sex. You are trade offer sex.
That little number is getting played after many of the deals that we're seeing get done on the show. More offers than not are going through when people are offering Christian Kirk and Leonard Fournette for JT. J.K. Dobbins and Christian Kirk. Chris Olave and J.K. Dobbins. And I love Olave, but sometimes you got to give a little to get a lot. And if we don't want to talk about the 2-for-1s, those crazy, Smitty, look what I just did, and you get JT for two guys that don't deserve JT. After 5 weeks, 4 weeks of play, one of which he did well, and then a missed week in week 5. An injury that should not, again, lower ankle sprain, not a high ankle like initially reported, an injury that should not keep him out and hamper him all year. He missed a game on a quick turnaround for a Thursday game. Not only can you get this man JT using those 2 for their 1, you getting JT, you giving up 2 players like JK and a wide receiver. You can also give up a bigger name player that I believe will still be under JT, potentially go forward. We're not talking about including weeks 1 through 5. Those don't count. Those points won't count when you're acquiring JT for week 6. You can't take those points with you. And go forward, if you believe that JT could still be, after 5 weeks, if you're willing to determine he's not the top 1 to 5 running back you thought he was walking into week number 1, that's fine. I can't convince you. I don't even want to convince you. We need enough of you negative Nancys out there to say no, so we can keep his value low. So I thank you, those of you that are contributing and doing your part, taking one for the team and saying, no, I don't like JT. We need enough of you, so that's fine. I'm not going to convince you. If you just require a little nudge, I might be there for you, but I'm actually not going to pressure anybody. You don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. You don't want to be on this train, that's fine. Again, if the train goes down and crashes and everything's a wreck and my season falls apart because I invested in JT after 5 weeks, expecting him to still be a top 1 to 5 running back, and I got him way outside of top 12, top 10 overall value, I won't lose a wink of sleep if that league crashes and burns for me because I made that gamble. Sometimes not acquiring a player when their value's low is a bigger gamble than acquiring the player. Meaning, if you pass on JT, you have more of a risk of making a mistake than investing in JT at the cost of entry. And back to what I'm saying, to give up one player that's perceived to be better, you can now come in and get JT and an additional player for your one player. For Nick Chubb, for Saquon Barkley, and maybe you're saying,
Smitty, I want Saquon Barkley over JT.
I realize that, Bob, and that's fine, and I agree with you right now, but what I'm trying to tell you is if you believe JT could still be as good as Barkley and Nick Chubb, you're open-minded enough to not close the door on a guy like JT after 5 weeks. I'm telling you that if you need a spark, if you lost Javonte, you lost Dak, and then you lost other wide receivers, Keenan Allen's been on the pine, you had St. Brown go down early, Swift go down, and you have Barkley, and you have Chubb, and you're playing for second place, and everybody tells you, you can't,
Smitty, you can't trade Barkley, you can't trade Nick Chubb.
Yes, you can. If you're losing, you can. If you're 1-3 or even 2-2 and you got lucky, but you know you can't go the distance, you got Swift out this week, you got Swift out on a bye next week, same thing with St. Brown. You got all these problems going on, and you're going to continue to lose, and somebody's in your ear that doesn't know the landscape of the situation or your team or situation and goes,
you don't trade Chubb, don't listen to Smitty, you don't, if you own Barkley, you don't trade him.
You might have to trade. Take a look in the mirror. Honest inventory. Do you need a trade or do you not? Because if it's not broken, you don't have to try and fix it. But if it's broken, if you're playing from behind, if you're honest with yourself and you say, I need something, then why would you not take a gamble on a player that 5 weeks ago was everybody's number 1 and get something more? You've got Nick Chubb. You trade Nick Chubb for JT, and you get potentially a Dameon Pierce, a Breece Hall, maybe a T. Higgins. You could probably get a Jamar Chase upgrade using your player. So maybe in some cases it's a 2 for 2. You give up Chubb, you give up Metcalf, you get Jamar Chase, you get JT. There are so many ways to go about this trade. Whether it's you getting JT for your 2 players, whether it's you getting JT and somebody for your 1 better player,
perceived wise,
or some kind of 2 for 2 upgrade where you're getting an even Steven swap with JT and let's say Chubb. In your mind, potentially in your mind, this could be the even swap you've been looking for to get you that upgrade at another position. Maybe you have no quarterback, you're playing garbage quarterback play, and somebody's got Jalen Hurts and Burrow, and you can get JT and Burrow for just your Nick Chubb, and you have your quarterback situation solved. That's what I'm talking about. Some of you may be just hearing
trade Chubb,
trade if you've got a trade. Strike now. The great thing about this advice is that it can carry into week number 6 because the Colts already played. JT already sat. And while you had a better opportunity to maybe trade for JT before he sat out the game so somebody could actually use something for week 5, his offense played so bad it may wash out that, okay, now that I've waited a week, I'm not going to trade him because I sat him for a week. Why am I going to now trade him to you? Maybe the offense scared the owner so bad, the offensive play by the Colts, that they say, you know what, I still will trade him. So this advice carries into week number 6, and you can go get him now, during the games, after the games, all the way up to kickoff in week number 6. Go buy JT now. He can be the league winner you've been looking for. A price tag you may never see again attached to JT. JT, you are Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Now get out there. And get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Get your one-on-one text advice, your bold predictions, all your articles, your trade calculator. I carry around my one-on-one text advice phone with me. I got 2 phones. I carry around both. This one's for when Miss Smitty says, hey, go get some milk, Smitty. And this one says, hey, Smitty, should I make a trade? And I'm like, yeah, no, yes, no.
Meatloaf!
Give me the meatloaf.
We want it now!
Wait, no. Sometimes I might send you a message thinking you're Miss Smitty, so just ignore that. Get my one-on-one text device. Do it now. And play Underdog Fantasy today. Start over, draft over from scratch, knowing what you know now, walking into only week 6 through 17, a micro season beginning in week 6 through 17. They're called resurrection drafts. Go use the promo code Smitty, the link in the description. They'll match up to $100 on your first deposit. Go, go, go. Do a draft now. Start over today. Even if your seasons aren't in shambles, it's extra skin in the game. And there's nothing better than draft day, and you can make draft day right now. You have tonight, tomorrow, the next day, all the way into week 6 kickoff to play Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, resurrection drafts. Go draft now. Go draft now. Now get out of here.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.